Yes, yes, the Kasanovians. Alright, lads, so in this stream, what I want to do is I want to explain to you what actually works in terms of daytime approach in London specifically in 2025. So I often get the question, is cold approach still possible? Specifically, is cold approach still possible in London? It is still possible as long as you are adapting yourself to the modern game. Yeah. And this is probably the biggest mistake that I see with guys who maybe they were involved in the game 5, 6, 7 years ago. And the biggest issue that I see is an unwillingness or an inability to actually adapt. Okay. So if you're still running the same outdated stuff, if you're still parading around central London and accusing every woman of being French, if you're still running the old school London day game model, then the game's moved on and you need to do so as well. And we were speaking about this at the most recent Entourage group coaching call. So every Sunday in the Entourage, we have a live group coaching call. So it's basically like a Q&A with me, but it morphs into just this group discussion because we've got guys in the Entourage who've been in the game for way longer than me. And these group coaching calls allow us to all learn from each other. And the guys inside the Entourage, they're not normal individuals. It's kind of like a prerequisite for getting mentored by me and joining my community, the Entourage. You have to be a little bit fucked in the head. Like you have to really want to take this skill to an elite level. Yeah. And that's what we're really striving for in the Entourage. We don't just want to get good at the skill. Like we want to dominate the dating game for decades to come. So we get super specific, we get super tactical on these calls because we just want everybody to be as elite at the skill of daytime cold approach as possible. And we had an amazing story that came out the Entourage yesterday, whereby two of our Entourage guys who I trained individually in London, so both of these guys completed their one-to-one in-person immersion with me, they linked up yesterday. So they went out in London for the first time together and they had such an unreal session. And I think one of the guys, we'll call him Luke. So Luke has made an infield video with me in the past in Barcelona. It's like I taught a 21-year-old entrepreneur how to approach women in Barcelona. So you can see Luke in action there. But what he said to me was, it was so refreshing to go around London with a guy who was so aligned with him personality-wise. So in the Entourage, we have different like-minded guys, guys who they've got similar philosophies. They don't need to agree on everything. But them two linking up yesterday was just such a game changer for the both of them. And the other guy, we'll call him Travis. His first approach of the day ended up on an instant date. So he took a girl out to lunch. That was his first approach of the day. And that really underscored for me the importance of having somebody else by your side. This is Luke sent a voice message into our group once the session had finished. And he was like, I didn't truly understand the power of having a quality wing with you until I went out with Travis today. Because whatever you're able to accomplish on your own, when you've got the right people around you, it could just be one quality wingman, then it changes everything for you. I find for myself, when I've got a good group of guys around me, I feel more audacious. I feel more socially charged. I think that healthy male competition aspect kicks in. You almost want to show off and show to you guys what you can do. And that's kind of like an issue that I had with old school London day game advice, which was, oh, you need to be the hardcore solo purist. You need to grind out solo sets all on your own. If you've got a wing with you, that is somehow cheating, right? And all of this like outdated garbage advice, which I think left a lot of guys feeling confused. Yeah. And one of the realizations that I had, and it came up on the Entourage call today, was when you think about it, London day game, like the whole day game model, it was made by losers for losers, right? That's what it was. It was these guys who were trying to masquerade as high value men, these guys who were trying to use tricks and techniques. Oh, 5 easy ways to get any woman into bed. Oh, you need to vibe, you need to stack. Oh, has she hooked yet? It was all operating from this place of fear, yeah, from this place of inadequacy, whereby instead what we teach inside the entourage is leading with radical, lethal authenticity, right? Not hiding behind scripts or techniques or, oh, you need to push, you need to pull. It's simply leading with authenticity and then not hiding behind this smokescreen of uncertainty. So when our two guys in the entourage were going around London yesterday, it really hit home the importance of having the right people around you. It's like one of our other guys in the entourage, Joseph, once said, cold approach is not a solo sport, it's an extreme sport, and it's also a team sport. I think it's commendable, and I think it's amazing if you get started on your own, especially in a city like London. But if you really want to get to an elite level and you want to make this sustainable and healthy and also fun as well, I think that's a huge part of the game that a lot of guys miss out on, is actually enjoying yourself when you're going out there to approach. Now that we've got a network of guys in London who are part of the entourage, I explained it on a previous live stream. When I was back in London last and I was coaching Genki, making the coaching series that hopefully you've watched, like I taught a shy Japanese guy how to day game in London. Like whilst I was doing that coaching series, I was also linking up with our guys in London in the entourage, and we were going out and we were hitting sessions together. And I've never felt more in love with the city of London compared to that previous week. I felt like I was falling in love with the skill of daytime approach all over again. I think the reason for that was I was almost able to vicariously enjoy the beginner experience through the eyes of my students, if that makes sense. So because like daytime approach in London is still very new to Genki, to Travis, to Luke, it almost made me like get infatuated by the skill again. It took me back to when I was first learning the skill in 2020, and I didn't have a lot going for me. I didn't have a lot of money. I was a low-life loser. I was a porn addict. I had erectile dysfunction. Those of you who follow my content will know my story. I remember going from Leeds, which was where I initially learnt the skill during the pandemic. I remember I would take weekend trips to London, and every time I went to London, it just expanded my mindset. It really demonstrated to me that there was a big world outside of Leeds. And I would go to London on the weekends. I would take the National Express bus because I couldn't afford the train fare. And I would do weekends in London, either for my own personal skill development or for filming. I would take the National Express down on a Friday. I'd get there nice and early. I'd do a weekend and then I'd get back to work. Like I'd arrive back into Leeds bus station at like 6 a.m. back at work, doing the 9 to 5 grind that Monday, the National Railway Museum in York. But London always had this appeal to me. And I do think London is the best city on the planet to learn the skill of daytime approach, to get really fucking good at the skill of daytime approach. So if you've been following my content for a while, you'll know it takes around 100 direct cold approaches to start to develop proficiency, okay? So 100 direct approaches, which is you walking over to women who you find attractive, giving them a direct compliment, like a hard-hitting compliment as well. It's not like these lukewarm, tepid adjectives like you look nice, you look cute, you look whatever, sweet, or like you look intriguing. Like lead with balls, lead with radical, ruthless, unapologetic desire. Like you look amazing, you look stunning, you look so good, you look fucking amazing. And I had to come over and just give you this compliment, like, what are you doing today? If you can rep that out 100 times, ideally record the audio of your conversation so you've got a point of reference. Once you've done that 100 times, you will have overcome that initial fear of starting conversations, the old approach anxiety. You will have a multitude of experiences with many different women. So women who are walking fast, stationary girls, maybe you can push yourself and you can do approaches inside of bookshops or cafes or museums. That's what I recommend, by the way. If you feel as though you're your cold approach is starting to plateau, just start off by doing the hardest approach first. That'll get you into godly frequency or that state of social flow a lot faster. So it might be a girl inside of a bookshop. It might be a girl who's working inside of a shop. It might be a big group of girls, a girl who's with her mum, a girl who's with her parents. I've done all these approaches. The infield are on the channel, just having like Kristian Kasanova, how to approach a girl who's with her parents. That was a fun approach. But like, if you can do the hardest approach first, it'll get you into a state of social flow, and then all other approaches will feel easier in comparison. And I think in a city like London, one of the biggest realizations that I've had recently is, yeah, we can talk about looks, we can talk about money, we can talk about status. Hopefully you're doing everything within your power to improve all of these metrics. But I've found in a city like London, the biggest purchasing power that you've got is your balls, right? And I spoke with Genki about this. Your balls, okay? Balls are like the ultimate purchasing power, especially when it comes to cold approach, because going halfway with half a heart only digs a deeper grave. So in a city like London, where everything is chaotic, it's crazy, especially central London on a Saturday, it's madness, right? It feels like nighttime, but during the daytime. Like it feels like an outdoor nightclub. It's fucking crazy, right? So if you can learn to lead with unapologetic, shameless conviction, which is you seeing women who you find attractive and just being honest, like saying what you see, really, which is you look incredible. Like you look so good. You look stunning. And then the biggest thing that, if you take away one thing from this stream, especially when it comes to cold approaching in London in 2025, and we spoke about this on the call today, and this has probably been the biggest game changer for all the guys that I work with one-on-one, is prioritizing the stop itself, yeah? So a lot of guys, the reason why you might find that you've got a lot of anxiety at the moment towards approaching women is usually because you're thinking way too many steps ahead. Yeah, so guys will often ask, what if I run out of things to say? Or how do I go for the phone number? Or how do I be more flirty or witty or charming? Or how do I get the girl more invested? And it's like, you just want to focus on the task at hand. Because in my experience, after coaching over 200 entrepreneurs, business owners, high performing, busy professionals, like literally working with them one-on-one and like holding their hand through this entire process, the stop is everything, right? And that's all I do now, by the way. Like if you want if you want me to install my mindset into you right now, like what I'm actually doing in my approaches in 2025, I'm just focused on the stop. Right, that's all I'm focused on, because I know that the greatest leverage that I've got in a cold approach conversation is the stop at the start. Because if you can make your stop elite, right, like 10 out of 10, it does so much of the heavy lifting for you. So maybe it would be useful right now if I just broke down the stop in like minute detail, so you can literally just copy this. Yeah, so maybe you're considering going to London to practice cold approach. Maybe you're already approaching, but you feel as though you've hit a wall, or your approaches don't seem to have that type of like pizzazz, you know, like you feel as though something's missing. Or maybe you're considering working with me at some point in London and you kind of want to have a heads up, a little bit of preparation. So let me just break down the stop for you, because this is by far the most important part of daytime approach, especially in a busy city like London. So we'll just imagine that there's a girl who's walking really fast. So you're going to walk over to her, and then when you get about adjacent to her, so maybe like this, you're going to say, excuse me, right? And when you say, excuse me, what you're doing is you're trying to make eye contact. Now, what's super important about the stop is, and we spoke about this on the call today, and this is really important, when you're going to go over to stop a woman who's walking fast, the goal is not to get her attention, it's to get her to stop, right? So what a lot of guys will do is they will get a girl's attention when they're still behind the girl will swivel around, but her feet will still be pointing in the direction she wants to travel, right? So you might get girls who are just kind of like, you know, cocking their head back, but because you haven't prioritized getting them to stop, they'll just walk off into the ether. So the most important part of the stop is focusing on the stop and not just focusing on getting this woman's attention. Okay, so you say, excuse me, and then you lock in, right? You lock in with the eye contact. And again, this is going to take reps. You're not going to get it perfect on the first time. This is why I give you like 100 direct approaches as just to get some proficiency, right? To get your skin in the game. Yeah, maybe you strike out every time. Maybe you hit a few home runs. All that matters at the start, especially for these first 100 approaches, is your focus on the skill development and not the women, right? Because if you're going out there and you're putting a lot of pressure on yourself to get dates, to get phone numbers, to get happy endings, your mind is too fixated on the future. So all I would want you to focus on when we're working together one-on-one is let's just rep out the stop. And this is what I did with Travis, by the way, the guy who he most recently completed a London immersion with me. I remember I took him out to Regent Street and Oxford Street. And when we first went onto those streets, he just couldn't get women to stop, right? He just couldn't do it, which is completely fine. Like I'm there every step of the way with him because I know how difficult it is when you're first starting. And we just kept repping it out. I just kept pushing him into approaches. He kept trying. The women would either walk off or they would say, oh, I'm busy or I'm on the phone. And every time he came back to me, he was like, look, I want to get this. Let's do another one. So, and that's really the only thing that I look at when guys work with me one-on-one is just your attitudes, right? How relentless are you? You know, are you actually here to get elite level or are you just here for a little bit of just like a piss around, right? So when we just kept repping it out and eventually it clicked. I remember him saying to me, you know, if I was doing this on my own, after about 2 or 3 failed, like quote unquote failed stops, I'd have just gone home, right? But because I've paid a lot of money to be here, because I've got you with me, and also because when I work with my guys one-on-one, we use a wireless microphone setup. So I can listen in to everything that they're saying. So it's like, he was like, I also want to perform for you as well. Like, I also want to be like your best student. So I don't just want to pussy out and go home and give up. Like, I really want this. So we just stayed on those streets for a good couple of hours, continuing to rep it out, purely just focusing on the stop. And that is all I would say to you right now. If you want to crush daytime approach in London in 2025, don't worry too much about conversation skills. Don't worry about vibing, stacking. Oh, has she hooked yet? Don't worry about being seductive and suave and cool and charming and doing all this like crazy pickup jargon. Just focus on getting women to stop, right? That's it. Just focus on getting the women to stop. And then after we'd repped it out, he was doing it. Like, he was getting the women to stop. He met this amazing girl and they ended up going on a date a couple of days later. He then actually flew out to join me and some of the other Entourage guys in Krakow for an Entourage Renaissance retreat. And then the day that he arrived in Krakow, he took a girl out on a date that same day, and the reason why I tell this story is once you can do it in London, you can do it anywhere, right? I do think London is the most challenging city to learn daytime approach. And then when he went from his immersion over to Krakow, it was like cold approach on easy mode. Yeah, like he was getting dates on that first day purely because he'd repped out the skill so much with me. I was holding his hand, not like literally, but like metaphorically, every step of the way. And that, I would say, is the most important thing. Like, London is busy, it's chaotic, it's crazy. If you can get women to stop and that's the focus for the session, then you're so far ahead already. Because what a lot of guys will do is, because a lot of guys don't even understand how important the stop is, right? So if you're watching this stream now, you've already got an unfair advantage on the competition, because a lot of guys are obsessing over things that don't really matter, right? So, oh, conversation skills, oh, I need to push, I need to pull, oh, what's better, WhatsApp or Instagram? Let's just focus on the stop, right? So then what I'm really trying to do in my approaches, especially in London, is I'm trying to get the girl into this private bubble, right? Where the rest of the world almost fades away. And you can do this even on the busiest streets, even when there's so many people around, even when you're feeling self-conscious that, oh no, people are looking at me. You can enter this private bubble of conversation on a busy street like Oxford Street or Regent Street. And once you've got that approach on point, the rest of the world just disappears. It's just you and the girl locked in to this private bubble of communication. And when this happens, you'll feel the difference in yourself. Like, you'll feel the difference of this type of approach compared to what you've been doing previously. And pay attention to the girl's feet as well, because a person's feet will always point in the direction that they want to travel. So if her feet and your feet are pointing towards each other, now you're locked in. Now you can have a seductive conversation. And then at this point, right, and this is really important, at this point, as long as your approach is solid, yeah, so you've got her attention, you've made the seductive eye contact, you've got in front of her, now you're in this private bubble, the words that you say don't really matter anymore, right? Because she's locked in, right? She's locked into you. She's also had to make a decision herself if she wants to talk to you. And this is what a lot of guys who don't practice this skill consistently, especially in the modern game, this is what they don't understand, right? A lot of guys think that you need to like sprint after a girl and then jump in front of her, or you need to stop women as they're coming head on because that's somehow better or easier. In my experience, the way that I teach the stop itself, the way that our entourage guys are utilizing the stop, it gives her permission to choose, right? So if you notice, if you watch my infield content, and this is me going like super like tactical, minute detail right now, because I want you guys to really understand this. If you look at my infield conversations, then you'll notice that I don't do what I used to do, which was like running around, like trying to get right in front, almost like coercing the girl into stopping. Now the way that I stop is I say the excuse me, I get the eye contact. Yeah, I'm taking a few steps, but I'm really giving her the permission to choose, right? So she's looking at me, she's making the eye contact, and then she decides if she wants to stay in that conversation. I found that's the most powerful way to initiate a conversation, is giving her the permission to choose. Again, just watch any of my infield conversations and you'll see what I'm talking about. It's much easier if you see it done in real life. This is what the guys say to me, like, dude, when I saw you approach in person, it changed everything for me, right? And that's what I like to do when I'm working with my guys one-on-one in the field. I don't just do what these other bozo coaches online do, which is post infield footage of themselves from 10 years ago and then just coast. No, I'm getting stuck in the field. Like, I'm training alongside you. Because we use the wireless microphone system, you can then like put the headphones in, I get mic'd up, and you can have your own live private infield demonstration sessions. I actually did this with Travis when I was in London, and that was a game changer for him. Like, he was like having these like POV, like literally point of view angles of me approaching completely uninhibited in London. I was having some of the craziest conversations that I'd had because I just felt happy, you know, I just felt like lively and like my energy was palpable. Like, oh, London, it's sunny, the women are beautiful, everything's amazing. I just wanted to give, like I was just operating on this godly frequency. And he was like, even though I've watched pretty much all of your infield videos now, I've never seen you like that. So I think there's huge value because I do one-to-one coaching. I don't do group coaching bollocks. Like, the way that I see it is you are a unique individual. You've got your own challenges and things that you're shit at. So that's why I like to do one-on-one, because we target the sessions towards your individual obstacles. And that's how our guys are able to make progress fast. But the stop itself is huge. Yeah. So really, I would say to you, go out or set an intention this week. Aim to do 20 approaches this week, right? Let's just say that. I'll imagine that you're a busy guy and you don't have a lot of time and you don't have the schedule right now. But if you can set an intention to just do 20 approaches this week, and all I want you to do is focus on the stop, right? Use my videos as a point of reference. You can download my free course, Conversation Killer, as well. I go deeper into the stop on that course. But if we just say, like, imagine that this is like a one-on-one coaching call, me and you, I'll say your name's Bertie. Bertie, what I want you to do today, and this is imagining that you've never done this before, just go out into London this week, and all I want you to do is get 20 women who are moderately attractive. You don't need to be going for the supermodels if they scare the shit out of you. All I want you to do is get 20 women who are walking to stop, give them a compliment, ask them, what are they doing today? See if you can stay in that conversation as well. Like, I know it can be hard at the start. I know your mind is just like shouting at you to get out that conversation. Oh, this is scary. Oh, the adrenaline's high. Maybe you're talking too fast. Maybe you run out of things to say. Just see if you can stay in that conversation longer than you feel comfortable. If you think there's a vibe there, sure, go for the number. But that's not the goal for this session. The goal is simply to get the women to stop. And something that I do, which I spoke about on the Entourage call today, is because I've got a lot of reps now. Like, I started cold approach in 2020, but before that, I was a magician. So I became a magician at 13 years old. So I've been practicing my social skills since, well, the best part of 15 years, right? So I get what it feels like to be shit at the start. Like, I was atrocious. I had terrible social skills. That's why I decided to become a magician. I wanted to take a sledgehammer to my social anxieties. So that's why, like, when I work with guys now, like, I see the former version of me inside of them, if that makes sense. Like, I see the scared, insecure, lost little boy who just wants to be wanted, who just craves validation, approval, and love from the feminine. Like, I get that. Even though I work with successful guys who've got it all on paper, a big part of my coaching is really freeing them from their own bullshit. Right? That's why I say I'm not a dating coach, I'm not a day gamer, I'm not some fucking pickup artist. I see myself as a freedom from bullshit practitioner. You know, I think daytime call approach is a modern day rite of passage. I do see it as the most aggressive form of self-development. I do think it's a 2 middle finger salute to a society that wants to keep you shackled. I've spoke about the great sedation in the past. Yeah, every app that you see, every ad that you scroll, every excuse that you tell yourself, a lot of times, this is not your fault. This is a society that wants to keep you stuck. Oh, be a good boy, working 9 to 5, ask for permission when you're allowed to go for a shit. Oh, the only way to get a woman is by swiping your life away on an app, or getting drunk in a nightclub, or trying to strategically get a woman through your social circle. But if you're attracted to something like daytime approach, it says to me that you refuse to be ordinary. Yeah, you refuse the ordinary programming of the ordinary world. You refuse to be a static spectator. You refuse to be a cog in the system. And that's why, for me, this is freedom. Yeah, daytime approach is you becoming a sovereign individual and going after what you want rather than settling for what you think you can get. And then that spills over into everything else that you do. You know, like, if it hadn't have been for daytime approach, I never would have left my 9 to 5 job. You know, I never would have started traveling the world. I never would have had the conviction in myself that I could actually make a full-time career out of this. I never would have started putting myself onto YouTube. All the things that have happened in my life up to this point since 5 years ago have been a direct product of me deciding to take that action, to get started with the skill. Which I think is really important to remember. You know, like, when you are going out there, and especially in a city like London, you've got a lot of anxiety, you're kind of doubting yourself, you've got that child inside of you who's kicking and screaming. Just remind yourself that every approach that you do is an investment into the identity of the man who you want to embody. And every time you see that beautiful woman and you bail, you pussy out, you decide not to approach because of fear, you are effectively saying to society, I'm happy to be a programmable pawn in this system. So use that as a mental reframe. The next time you think you've got approach anxiety, right? You don't have approach anxiety. You just lack practice. Yeah, approach anxiety is not a disease. It's not an illness that you can catch. Like, oh, you've got approach anxiety. It's like the lurgy. You know, it's usually just down to a lack of practice, a lack of momentum. So that's why the exercise that I've given you this week, aim to stop 20 women and give them hard-hitting compliments. By the end of the week, if you actually do that, you're going to have so much momentum behind you that you're going to start experiencing success in advance, and you're going to start to develop more of an expectation that this woman is going to stop. And that is literally my mindset now, because I've done so many of these approaches. I go in now with an expectation that the women are going to stop, that they are going to like me, that they're going to love this approach. And that's literally just come about through reps. That's it. Just doing this thousands and thousands of times, coaching hundreds of guys, putting my YouTube footage out there for the world to critique, recording audio of my conversations, like critiquing myself, getting feedback, getting coached. So that's why on these streams, I hope I can transmute decades into days and just give you a proven blueprint for what's working right now. So the stop, that's really the only thing I need you to focus on. In London, this week, in 2025, forget about all the nonsense, red pill garbage like, oh, looks, money, status. Forget about the whole pickup thing, which is just manipulation disguised as game. Oh, you need this. Just forget all that garbage. Forget all that nonsense. Just focus on getting women to stop. That's all you need to do right now, okay? So let's say that you're somebody who has got skin in the game, and let's say your stop is pretty good. By the way, if you're enjoying the stream as well, just drop it a like. It just tells me that you're enjoying the content and what I'm saying is somewhat useful. I know I do have these esoteric rants where I talk about things, but I enjoy them, and hopefully you enjoy them as well. But yeah, if you're enjoying the content, just drop it a like. It tells me that you're enjoying it, which is nice. But the other thing that I wanted to talk about on this one was a concept of justified arrogance. So I spoke with Genki about this when I was coaching him in the field. Having this notion of justified arrogance can be quite difficult for people to comprehend. I've noticed this with British people as well. We almost shy away from talking about our accomplishments. But at the end of the day, seduction is sales, right? And if you don't talk about it, she doesn't know about it. Yeah, I remember coaching one of our entourage guys, and he's got an international lifestyle, right? He's traveling all of these different exotic places. He speaks multiple languages, but he never spoke about it in his conversations. And I said to him, dude, like, if you don't talk about this stuff, then the women are never going to know, right? You're just a random dude on the street. But I found the concept of travel it's like catnip to women, right? They love talking about travel. So if you're anything like the guys who I work with one-on-one, and maybe you've got an international lifestyle, maybe you're an entrepreneur and you've got location independence, or maybe you've just gone on a trip recently to fucking Marbella, talk about it, right? Talk about your recent expeditions, talk about your lifestyle, talk about your accomplishment. In the entourage as well, Joseph quite rightly said that you can also draw arrogance, like justified arrogance, through the actions that you've taken with daytime approach, right? So like now when I go out there to approach, or when our guys in the entourage go out there to approach, because we've done so many reps, because we've invested so much into the identity of the version of ourselves who we want to embody, there's almost like this removal of doubt, because we've proved to ourselves we can do this thing. We've already done the hardest thing, which is walking over to women stone cold sober, giving them compliments. Like, we've already proved to ourselves that we are that guy. So now when we go out there, we remind ourselves of these accomplishments. Like, oh, I can actually do this. Oh, I've got results. Oh, I've got a date tonight. Like, whatever those accomplishments are, because this is like a problem that I see. Oh, I've just changed the position. Oh, that's better. The circulation's back. Like, a lot of the successful guys that I work with, when they're going into their approach, they almost are still operating like the ugly duckling on the inside, right? It can feel like their internal hasn't caught up with their external. And this is why having a compelling Instagram profile is very useful as well. I know a lot of guys are resistant to building a compelling Instagram, but if you imagine that you've got an international lifestyle, you're running this cool business, you're doing interesting things, talking about it is good. It's better than not talking about it. But if you've got a profile like Instagram, which gives evidence, which gives proof of the lifestyle, then the girl can get invested without you having to do a lot. And this is what I said to Genki when I was coaching it. I was like, dude, you can actually get away with not having the greatest cold approach conversation because your Instagram is solid, because you're traveling the world, because you've got this James Bond-esque international lifestyle. You can essentially just close with Instagram. The girl will go over to your landing page. Remember, seduction is sales. And she's going to get more invested. Like, the Instagram profile is going to do a lot of heavy lifting. And I think in the modern game, in 2025, it's criminal if you don't have an online presence, right? And it doesn't even take that much effort. Ideally, you just need 9 good photos, right? Get 9 good photos. I've got a free video anyway. Just type in Kristian Kasanova Instagram. I literally walk you through how to build a compelling Instagram, because I do think in the modern game, in 2025, where most guys have mentally checked out, where most guys are either just consuming content and not doing anything with it, they're swiping on apps, they're getting drunk in nightclubs, they're hoping Sally from their social circle finally notices them. if you want to have a lethal combination, then getting elite, like exceptionally good at daytime approach, whilst also having a compelling Instagram, that's the game right there, right? So if you can focus on your stops, really rep that out until you become proficient at getting women to stop, leading with conviction, leading with desire, blowing those women away within the first 3 seconds. Again, I teach you how to do this in Conversation Killer. I've also got my free 10-hour course as well. All the information's here. So just go on my channel, get the courses. And also, on top of that, you've also got a compelling Instagram, which shows off your lifestyle. Then I think that's a lethal combination. It's a lethal combination in 2025. Yeah, you can get results by taking phone numbers, but for me, if you're serious about becoming elite at this skill, then you want to tick all the boxes. Yeah, and if you're thinking, oh yeah, but my lifestyle is shit, I'm just an average guy working an average job. Yeah, okay, I get that. I was that guy as well 5 years ago, but I think there comes a point in a man's life where you make the decision to change, like to really make that decision to become exceptional, because nobody else is coming to fucking save you. That's the realization that I had. When I was in that grotty apartment in Leeds in 2020, I was on universal credit. I looked like a turnip. I dressed like a moron. Like no woman even wanted me. I realized that, yeah, we're all self-made, but the only people who want to admit that they're self-made are the ones who are proud of their lives. So if you're not happy with the life that you're living, if you're not happy with the women that you're dating, if you're not happy with the money that you're making, like that was me 5 years ago. But what all that means is you just need to become a new person, right? That's all it means. And I think that realization for me changed everything, because I understood that if I wanted to live the life that I'm living now, then I need to elevate. I need to metaphorically crucify this current version of me and become the version of myself who could achieve these things. I talk about it in my free course. Well, I've got my Most Fuckable Man course. There's a module titled Mindset Mastery, which is probably one of the most valuable videos that I've ever put together. It's like a 3-step process that I used to rewire my entire internal belief system. So it's a process that allowed me to leave my 9 to 5, make more money, become more physically fuckable, and just internally feel good. So yeah, if you've not downloaded it, I would recommend that you do that. But yeah, just this notion of justified arrogance, I think in a practical way, just list out 3 things that you're proud of about yourself. Like, what are 3 things that you could talk to a woman about today that actually set you apart from every other guy? Now, actually approaching with balls is already a massive crowd separator, right? Like if you can go over with balls, with conviction, look that girl in the eye, stone cold sober, then it also, this is actually a really important point as well. What it does is it triggers this concept of virtual selection, which it can work either way, but like just think of it like this, right? If you're a guy and you've got the confidence to walk over to women stone cold sober and you are shameless in your approach, in the woman's mind, and she won't be thinking about it consciously, but on a subconscious level, what she'll think is, this guy has probably done this before and has got good results from it, right? So therefore, he's probably in demand. He's probably got options. He probably wants me, but he doesn't need me, right? And you might be thinking, yeah, but won't this work against you? Like, oh, if she knows that you've done this before, oh, but then it's not going to work. And it's like, for me, it just reduces cold approach into this gimmicky thing, right? Sometimes guys are like, yeah, but what if this girl's already been approached before? Like the mindset that you want to have is, that's fine, but she's not been approached by me yet, right? We don't want to see like daytime approach as this like one trick pony. Like, oh, if a girl's already been approached that day, then it's game over for me. I don't even see like competition as a thing. Like I look more towards resonance than competition, right? I think resonance is more powerful because, like, say when I make this content, for example, right? There's going to be a big portion of the population who just don't like me, right? Who think I'm stupid, who think I'm weird, who think I've got a stupid haircut, right? But then there's going to be another portion of people who deeply resonate with my message, who are nodding their head to the things that I say, who are thinking to themselves, okay, I might not agree with everything that he says. He might have a semi-stupid haircut, but I resonate with this guy. I like him. There's just something about him that I vibe with. Yeah, it's kind of the same thing with dating. You're not going out there to be everything to everybody. You're not going out there to be universally attractive. You're going out there, in my opinion, to find your fuck yeses, the girls who just like you as soon as you go over. And really, I see daytime approach more as a practice for preparation, right? So if you imagine right now that you want to get a wife-worthy woman, right? Imagine you want to get a girlfriend. Like, imagine you want to get a girlfriend this year. Awesome. You're prioritizing the skill at the start as opposed to prioritizing the women. So what you're doing is you're repping it out, right? You're teaching yourself to act on immediacy. When you see a woman who you're attracted to, you're doing the rep time and time and time again. So therefore, when that opportunity does come, when you do see that wife-worthy woman struck past you in the airport, at the train station, outside Pret a Manger, you're prepared for that moment, right? So, you're not approaching every woman because you're trying to sleep with every woman who you approach. It's more this game of preparation. So when the right woman comes, when the right moment comes, you're going to be in that position where you've already proved to yourself you know how to do this. And that's what I love about Daytime Approach. It's like every approach that we're doing, it is an investment into the future. So like, you're not just doing it for yourself when you're going out there to approach, you're doing it for the future mother of your children. You're doing it for the family that you've not even met yet. You're doing it for the former version of you, that child inside of you who just wanted to be wanted, who wanted the validation, the approval, and the respect. You're doing it for him. You're doing it for him to show, yo, I've got us, like we can do this now. We're not that scared little kid who got bullied. We're not that scared little boy that got ostracized or felt as though he didn't fit in or felt as though his presence was never going to be enough for anybody. It's okay. I've got us, right? The adult is developed to protect the child. Yeah, so the adult that we become is designed to protect the child that we once were. I think with Daytime Approach, it really is a rite of passage. It really does turn boys into men. And I've noticed in the entourage recently, the guys who are coming forward to actually train with me, get coached by me, and join the community, they're in their early 20s, right? They're in their early 20s. And a lot of them, they don't even know about old school game. Like, they've never read the game. They don't know about the mystery method. They don't know about London day game models. They're not spending their entire time consuming content. They're just getting stuck in. And I think that unpolluted mind is awesome for the modern game. And look, I work with guys in their 50s, right? I've got guys in the entourage in their 50s. I've got guys who've come out of divorces, guys who were in 10-year long-term relationships, and that relationship ended, and then they had no idea how to resurface in the dating marketplace. I've worked with a large assortment of individuals, but I think the biggest thing for me is attitude. Like, how prepared are you to go all in with this skill? Because something that I make guys aware of as well, this skill is fucking hard, right? Like, I don't subscribe to the BS marketing, like, oh, cold approach is easy, 5 easy tricks to get any woman into bed. It's like, no, dude, this is hard, right? Like, learning the skill or becoming elite at the skill of daytime cold approach is probably the most difficult thing that you're ever going to do. And that's why most guys won't get started, because the perceived effort involved, it scares the shit out of them, right? But that's why I don't think the bar has ever been lower to get ahead of 99% of guys, because most guys are just not prepared to do it, right? Most guys are not prepared to reach out to get coached. Most guys are not prepared to put their ego on the line. Most guys are not prepared to go out into busy London and get emotionally battered time and time again. That's why I said at the start of this stream, you kind of need to be a little bit fucked in the head. I think you need to be a little bit fucked in the head to even want to get elite at this skill, to even consider applying to work with someone like me, like actually joining the network that we've got, because, you know, we're a bunch of social savages. We spoke about on the call today, like, it's kind of unnecessary. It's kind of unreasonable, the level that we want to get to. Like, we were having like a mini debate inside the entourage this morning at fucking 8 a.m. talking about like the meticulous nature of the stop and like where your feet should be positioned and like how it changes if you approach a big group of girls, just like going into super tactical, unnecessary detail. But like this is what I'm about. And I think the network that I've built, it embodies my philosophy to life, which is being obsessive, right? I don't see the point in getting started with anything unless you're prepared to be the best, unless you're prepared to go all in and just completely transform your identity through the fires of adversity. I don't see the point in getting started if you're not going to be relentless and obsessive. So, you know, the guys in the entourage, you know, we share that life philosophy of just going all in, just being fully committed, just ditching the excuses and just taking the skill to the moon. So yeah, prioritizing the stop, having this level of justified arrogance, that's important. I also say as well, like for London especially, I would say I call it developing this bulletproof bravado, right? Like daytime approach in London, especially if you're new to this or you don't have any wings around you right now, it's tough. You know, it's brutal. Like in London, people don't really give a flying fuck about you, right? People are busy, they're in a rush. If they don't like you, they'll just tell you to fuck off. And that's what you need. You know, I think a lot of guys these days, especially young guys, you're kind of like delicate little snowflakes, right? Sometimes you just need to get punched in the face, right? You need to get that emotional, cold, hard slap in the face of reality. Like you almost need a woman to say, do you know what, mate? I actually don't want to fuck you. Right? I think that's the greatest thing that can happen to guys. I think we live in this cotton wool culture, right? We live in this society addicted to comfort and immediacy. Oh, I'm horny, porn. Oh, I'm hungry, Uber Eats. Oh, I'm whatever, bored, Netflix, right? So like all of our needs are met. So I think if you learn something like daytime call approach, it's like the ultimate form of delayed gratification because you have to eat shit. You have to recognize, oh, maybe I'm not as great as I thought I was. And this was a big realization for me. Like when I started daytime approach, I thought I was a lot better than I actually was because I'd spent a decade practicing and performing close-up magic. I thought that I was just going to be exceptional from day one, right? Even though I didn't have a clue what I was doing, even though I'd never done like daytime approach before, I still had this underlying belief that, nah, it's okay, I'll be good at it. You know, I'll walk out into Leeds during the pandemic and I'll do well. And it was a humbling experience for me to recognize that, oh, not every woman wants to sleep with me. Not every woman thinks I'm attractive. I've still got a long way to go in my own development. I've had such a long way to go at the start. And you can see the whole thing. I've documented my entire journey on this channel. So you can just go back onto the oldest videos and you can see the development that I've actually gone through. But I think having this bulletproof bravado, recognizing as well that when you're out there in the field, in the moment, it's very much a lottery, right? I spoke with Genki about this during the coaching series, whereby when you're going out there, you don't know which women are available, right? So you could do 100 direct approaches in London, and all of those women could genuinely have boyfriends, right? They all might genuinely be in loving, committed relationships. But because your mind wants to find any reason whatsoever to stop you from doing this because the mind craves comfort, it will look at the data and it will say to you, oh, dude, all of these women rejected you. All of these women had boyfriends. You must be the problem. And that might be the case, by the way, right? You might be doing certain things wrong, which is why you do need feedback. It doesn't need to be from me, but find somebody who you resonate with. It might be a local wing. It might be another coach. It might be some other guy on the internet. Just get feedback from somebody, because without feedback, it's like aiming at a constantly shifting target. And I think that's probably one of the problems of consuming content is the content that I'm putting out, it's general, right? It's for a general audience. I don't know you personally, so I don't know your unique sticking point. So I'm just talking about topics which are topical to me right now. But without feedback, without individually tailored guidance, it can be very difficult to know what you need to improve, which is why if you need some way of getting feedback, just record the audio of your conversations. And then you will be able to listen to yourself back in real time and you'll be like, oh, I'm talking too fast. I'm running out of things to say. My stop is too weak. I'm not leading with conviction. My compliments feel too lukewarm and apologetic. I'm giving off this gay best friend type of vibe. Whatever it is, you'll be able to discover that in the audio of the conversation. But you might just get unlucky with the women that you approach, right? So that's important to recognize as well. Like, you don't know who's going to be available. So all you can focus on is the action that you take. You shoot your shot, you take it from there. But I think you do need to have this thick skin. And that's one thing that I got from learning magic. You know, like when I was performing magic, I was going around working men's clubs in Liverpool. And I would approach groups of drunken scousers. I would be like, oh, hi, excuse me, can I show you some magic? And I'd be like, no, fuck off, mate. And, you know, for like a teenager, that actually did sting. But now, you know, when I'm going out there, I'm approaching, because I've been rejected by thousands of women, you know, it's like, it's kind of water off a duck's back right now. It's like, all right, cool, next, on to the next one. But, you know, when I'm working my guys in the field, this is why I'm happy that when they do reach out, they've got me by their side because, nobody likes to be rejected at the start, right? Like the rejections, they do sting, especially if you're not used to being rejected, if you're not used to putting yourself out there. What I have noticed is a big reason why I chose to work with entrepreneurs, business owners, and busy professionals, entrepreneurs specifically, is they kind of already understand what's expected of them. Like if you're an entrepreneur and you're running a business, you already know what it's like to build things from the ground up. You're already used to hearing a lot of no's. If you're taking sales calls, right? You're already used to that game of, oh, let me think about it. Oh, I'll get back to you. And like you're used to that. You're used to going through the trenches. You're used to going from one failure to another without losing enthusiasm. So like entrepreneurs get it. Right, they understand it's going to be difficult at the start. They understand they're going to have to eat shit. They understand their ego is going to be capitulated. Like, they get it. But I would say that having an expectation that it is going to be hard at the start is useful, right? Because I think sometimes guys can get into this and they think, oh, it's going to be so easy. I'll walk out, they have this fallacy in their mind that, oh, I don't really want to immerse myself in the skill. I just want to approach a girl when I'm on the way to the gym. But it's like, yeah, good fucking luck with that, right? You need to have immersion at the start because you're not going to approach that woman. You're not going to integrate the skill until you've immersed yourself in the skill, right? So the formula that I use is immersion, integration, selection, meaning you start off, you do your 100 direct approaches, you immerse yourself completely in the skill. I recommend, here's what I would suggest for you as well. Have a week in London, right? Have a week in London, spend 7 days in London, aim to do 15 direct approaches every single day for those 7 days, right? By the end of those 7 days, you've done 105 direct approaches. Now you've got immersion behind you. And then once you feel immersed with the skill, you can go over to women, you can start conversations, you can get phone numbers. Then you can start thinking about integrating the skill into your busy lifestyle. Because if you're watching this, you probably don't want to get a reputation as a pickup artist, right? You don't want to be parading around the pavements for 8 hours talking to like one person. You don't want to be giving off this weird, creepy pickup type of vibe, right? So the way that I teach this is I want you to be as efficient as possible with the skill. Right? So you work with me one-on-one. I give you the entire playbook. I hold you accountable for your actions. We remove all the guesswork, remove all the trial and error. It's one-on-one, so it's individually tailored. I'm listening to all of your conversations. And then I introduce you to a network of like-minded guys so you don't slide back to square one. By the end of that, by the end of the immersion, then you can start thinking about integrating. But usually what happens with guys is once they've done an immersion with me, they just want to keep hitting it like every single weekend because it's fun, because they've got guys to actually wing with now. And that's why somebody like Travis can go out on his first wing session with Luke and get an instant date on day one because he's already immersed himself in the skill. He traveled with me to Poland. He joined the Entourage Renaissance Retreat. So we're just turning decades into days. So if you can have an immersion week, spend a week in London. Like right now, I would say London is the best city. Like summer in London is just insane. Like it's just a different type of vibe. You have to experience it for yourself. Like I'm going to be back in London this week. I'm going to be doing more filming with Genki. I'm going to be filming more content for myself. And also I'm going to be meeting up with the guys in the Entourage for one final hoorah before I go to Bali. So I'll be going to Bali next week. So we're having like an Entourage meetup. One of our guys in the Entourage has got access to one of London's prestigious private members clubs. So we take our new recruits to this private members club. It's really fucking awesome. So yeah, we're gonna meet up, gonna get the boys together, just have a big weekend in London, just like hitting the approaching hard. And yeah, it's gonna be fucking cool. I honestly think that nobody else in the entire world is doing what we're doing inside the Entourage, if I can be so egotistical. Like when I meet my guys in the Entourage and we go out together, we go out for sessions, it's just fucking cool. Like the level that guys have got to in a matter of months, or even in Travis's case, in a matter of weeks, is actually exceptional. But I think the main thing that you can take away from this stream, like, does cold approach still work, especially in London? Yeah, it does, but you need to adapt. Like what was working 5 years ago doesn't work anymore. You can't be this low value dude who's like sleeping in his mum's basement, like dressing terrible, not taking care of your health, not building your value as a man. Remember, all game is learning how to deliver your value to the world. Right? Like a lot of people will be like, oh, it's so competitive right now. Oh, girls have got more options than ever before. But it's like, yeah, okay, maybe. But for me, that just motivates me to get better. right? Like, why would you not want to be the most fuckable version of yourself? I've never really understood this mindset of, oh yeah, but Kristian, like, I know this guy and he works down a car wash and he's banging every single night. And it's like, yeah, but I don't want to work down a fucking car wash. I want to be a sovereign individual. I want to travel the world. I don't want to die with my music still inside of me. So, it's for me, it's becoming the full package, right? Maxing out every possible metric of human capability, and then understanding not every woman is going to want to sleep with you. That's okay. But the more reps that you take, the more likely you are to find your women. I would say in a city like London, it is a game of reps. It is a game of exposure therapy. It is a game about getting connected with the right guys. So you've got guys to go out with. I remember the last time that I was in London, I was going around with Travis and Richie, another one of our entourage guys. And dude, we were just hitting it. Like it almost felt like we were going to war together, right? It felt like we had each other's backs. We were pointing out different girls. We were doing some crazy approaches. And, I got to the end of those days. I just felt exhausted with accomplishment. I was just radiating this godly frequency. And yeah, it's just the best days of your life. When you're with a good group of guys, once you've got this skill down, once you know you can get results as well, I think that's big. Like, you start to radiate this notion of abundance. I've said it before, abundance is not always having, it's knowing you can have. So once you've unlocked a skill like daytime approach and you've unlocked it in the modern world, then your dating life is never the same again. Like, you don't have to worry about where's your next date coming from. You don't need to worry about, oh, am I going to be able to meet somebody? It's like, the skill itself is so universally applicable and it transforms you as a man in so many different ways. And the impact it's had on my life and the impact it's had on my client's life is like undeniable. So if you want to look at the results that my clients are getting, if you want to see and hear about their personal experiences, then in the description below, you can listen to an array of different testimonials. If you would like to work with me, train with me in the field one-on-one, then there's a link below this video, first link in the description. I'll put a link in the comments as well. You can peruse my website, no rush on my side, whenever the time is right, whenever you're like, okay, I want to become elite with this skill. I want to train with Kristian. I want to become part of the entourage. I just want to take this skill set to the moon. Then we're here for you. If not, continue to enjoy the free content. You don't need to pay me a fucking penny. And yeah, I'm just looking forward to getting back to London next week. Just really hitting the content hard, linking back up with Genki, and just it just nourishes my soul. Do you know what I mean? There's probably more things I could talk about. I'll probably do it in another live stream, but yeah, just having a lot of conviction, a lot of balls. Practicing, prioritizing your stops this week. If you can already stop, if you need an immersion week, just dedicate a week, like 15 direct approaches, 105 by the end of the week. Immerse yourself in the skill. Go hard, then go home. And yeah, if you've enjoyed this live stream, drop it a like. I love you all very much, and I'll speak to you again soon. All right, mwah.